Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and it is prediction time. I might not be great with my uploads right now, but I can't miss a good prediction, right? Like we gotta talk about this one because this is gonna be I think a pretty banger PLE. Sometimes we get ones that are kind of like but I think this one's going to be pretty good. So we'll just start, and I'll try to predict it the best I can, and give you as much detail as possible because some of these matches I think will have a lot of stuff happen. But let's just start it off with the Intercontinental Championship match. It's a triple threat between our champion Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig. I feel like this is just a further the feud type of like triple threat. Like I think this is like easily a Braun Breaker win. I don't see much changing here. I think they definitely will eventually have Sheamus dethrone Braun Breaker. That's like my prediction. But I feel like it's not here. I feel like it's closer to like the first of the year with the Raw on Netflix, or possibly like Saturday Night Main Event if they really want to pull the trigger. But I think this match here is just to show off how well everybody's been doing. And I think, yeah, Braun Breaker easily wins this one. It's kind of probably the easiest prediction of all of the entire card. I don't think there's going to be much, um, much of a chance for anything else to happen, but I think it's going to be a pretty banger match. Sheamus and Braun Breaker have been putting on good stuff. Ludwig, Sheamus, Ludwig, Braun Breaker. I think this is what they want. It's just this really good match in there to be memorable, but not also have anything really too crazy change. So Breaker wins this one. And we'll go to the United States Championship match. Now, this one had the least amount of build-up. I like it, though. I like the idea of LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the U.S. Championship. Nakamura came back, and I happened to film this a little late, so this was right after SmackDown, and his new theme and his look and everything about him screams that they're trying to give him that rebrand to really make him really good. And I like what they're going to be doing with it. Now, this match is the key because they cannot have Shinsuke Nakamura get buried here. So they pretty much have what two options here because easily, if you have Nakamura win, I think it would be a good idea. I mean, he's been a good championship champion in the past, and I think if they keep him with what he's doing, it makes a lot of sense. But I think honestly, the better option is to have him lose, but by disqualification. I think he hits him with the mist again and gets disqualified, or does something. And obviously, Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't need to have this match won to still look good. He just has to, they have to put on a good match, and then Nakamura gets disqualified. If he takes a clean pin, I think that's it. I'm calling it now. I think Shinsuke Nakamura's career in the WWE is gone after that because they've had him in so many good feuds, and he can't just keep taking L's. He's got to get some wins under his belt, and they just haven't given him one. And here, at least with the DQ one, it shows that like he's definitely just not here for the gold. He's just here to like make waves, and I think overall that's kind of a good sign and a good thing for this rivalry going forward. So I'm gonna go with LA Knight winning here by disqualification. I think it's the safer of the two bets, and it would leave LA Knight to have bigger and other feuds, but also giving Nakamura that sense of being the scary boogeyman that they kind of want to have him as on SmackDown. And I'm here for it. I think the new theme, everything worked really well, but just please don't let him lose clean. I think that would just kill everything. Next up, we have the Damian Priest and Gunther match for the World Heavyweight title. Now, this one is one of those things where they've been building it up that Gunther looks like he's going to lose, but come on. We know he's not going to lose here. I want Damian Priest to win. I prefer Damian Priest as champion. I feel like I was so ready for him to lose the championship until he lost it, and I was like, man, he still had so much more to give, and now I kind of want him to have it back. So I have buyer's remorse. I didn't want Gunther to win, but I just wanted somebody to win it. And now that somebody else has it, and it's not Damian Priest, I feel wrong. So they could easily do that, right that wrong, but I don't think they will. I think it's going to be Gunther winning. I think he's going to get his mojo back and destroy Damian Priest to a certain extent, and finish off that thing. I don't think there's going to be anything too crazy. A lot of people think maybe like the Judgment Day would come down, but I think like that book is kind of closed. But I guess it just kind of depends on what they want to do. I mean, it could make sense that Finn Balor comes down and costs them, and like furthers his like feud with Damian Priest that he just really hasn't let it go, and it could bring some also ruffles to the rest of the Judgment Day, who's just trying to get past it to retain their own medal and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like no world that I see Damian Priest winning though. So I'm gonna go with Gunther here. Easy prediction. Next up, we'll go with the women's war game match. It's Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bailey, Naomi, and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Now, I think this is the better of the two matches. It makes less sense, but I think it's going to be the better match. Because the team of Rhea's team and is just not the synergy team of like them really fighting on the same page. It doesn't seem like they would fight together even with them banding together. I feel like they still have their own open storylines against each other because Belair still has not got back onto Bailey. Io has not, you know, Bailey hasn't got back on Io. Like it's just all of that seems like that could be an easy turn. Now, I have a couple predictions here. I'm going to go with the first easy part of the match. I believe Liv's team wins. I mean, they have both WWE championships and the Money in the Bank on their team. How can you have them lose? I know they have Candice LeRae in there, and that kind of feels like the odd person out. But I believe Candice LeRae is going to be the one that has the best match here, too. That's the other prediction that I'm going to deal with. But I believe they win, and I believe Candice LeRae is the MVP. She's going to have the most crazy spot. She's going to do whatever she can because this is her biggest spot in WWE right now, and she could propel herself pretty well. She is the speed champion, which isn't something that necessarily a lot of people know if you don't really watch the extended WWE universe. But I feel like this is one of those things where you want her to look good too because of that, and on top of just getting a nice push lately. So I think she will just do a lot of stuff. Obviously, Io Sky would probably be the MVP on the other side. Now, other predictions. I feel like there's a good shot to make this the most memorable War Games that they've ever had is to have Tiffany cash in on Nia. Now, both champions will be there, but I feel like it's less sense to cash in on Liv Morgan story-wise because Liv and Raquel are like, I mean, Liv and Rhea will still be feuding, and it'd almost be like Rhea would have to stop the cash in, and they could do that too. But I feel like cashing in on Nia is the better shot, and doing it after the match, it would be pretty cool. Like they finish after winning, the babyfaces retreat, and bam, she cashes in on her, and everybody just kind of watches because nobody's gonna stop her to a certain extent. So I kind of want to see that. There's a good possibility. I'd say it's probably like a 70% chance they really want to make this War Games one of the most more memorable one is for cashing in. Then the other prediction, I kind of feel like the heels know who attacked Jade Cargill, and I feel like they're gonna play that video during the match, or like at one point, like right when they go to 5-5, they play a video out showing who attacked Jade to cause like some type of commotion in the babyface team, either showing that it's Bailey or Naomi, who's the top two people I believe is the one. Bailey makes sense because obviously she wanted to get into the War Games match, but she seems way too being the one, like the perfect person for it. And Naomi does make a lot of sense because if they don't strip them of the tag team titles, Naomi could easily slide in there and be that person to fill that spot, because like technically if they count them as a faction rules work with tag teams, and she should be able to step in there with having no issue. If you kind of think about like Damage Control and stuff like that, like people have done certain stuff, New Day, like it's not necessarily out of left field to have something like that happen. So it would make a lot of sense for Naomi to turn heel, and that be the reason why. And they played that video during the match. I think that could help also Team Heel win, because they would be able to then turn on each other, because if they show Naomi doing that, Bianca's going to go crazy. If they show Bailey going to do that, they're going to go crazy on Bailey, whoever. And like my thing is, if it's Naomi, I feel like Bailey is going to step up and protect Naomi, because she won't know why she did it, but she knows that she can trust Naomi. So again, then you'd have a 3-on-2 thing. Well, maybe Rhea wouldn't really care either way, but again, I feel like that's a cool way to make that match even crazier. It's like almost overbooking it, but like to a certain extent, not. I don't think we're gonna have any crazy like people coming down type of thing. We could possibly maybe see The Rock happen in the next match, which we'll talk more about. But I feel like after seeing Punk coming back last Survivor Series, there's no person on this earth that they could really bring back that'd be more shocking. Maybe other than like Vince McMahon, but like I feel like they have to kind of keep it low key on this. That's why I feel like the cash in would be something crazier and make it back to back Survivor Series that just have crazy moments, but they're like completely different, separate moments. But let's go to the men's War Games match. We have Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and CM Punk versus Solo Sikoa, Jake Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Big Bronson Reed. Now, I think Big Bronson Reed actually fits very well. Like, he just seems like he's part of the bloodline without actually being part of the bloodline. So I feel like it's a good addition. CM Punk, obviously, I think was a pivot. I think it was supposed to be Seth Rollins. I think they really did hard pivot. I do feel like it's not a bad idea. CM Punk is definitely a good person to put in there, and if he was still in his feud with Drew McIntyre, that would even add more fuel to the fire because Drew McIntyre hates Roman Reigns and would also blame CM Punk for that. So that actually would have been kind of cool if they kept it, but obviously I think that's over with. But overall, I think this match is going to be really good. It's going to be really important to the storyline, but I think it's a little bit more cut and dry. I feel like they trade wins. I feel like what was it? The baby faces and like Team Original Bloodline won the first one. Second one, Roman got pinned, and I think this one you have Roman do the pinning. Probably Roman also pinning maybe Solo just to get the back and forth. I don't think necessarily like the new bloodline gets buried if they lose here because of how big and massive this whole thing is. I don't think we really see a turn because obviously like people like CM Punk's gonna turn on him, but I don't think he really has to because he gets a favor from the wise man. So I feel like he's not like why would he turn on him at that point? He's already got the favor. Like just finish the job and go home type of thing. So I feel like that's what we got. And I feel like this match is going to be pretty solid. I feel like this is the one I'm looking forward to the most with storyline. I think the women's match is going to be better. I think the MVP performance here is going to be Jacob Fatu because, I mean, he's just gone crazy and he has the most to prove. Maybe on the men's side, we'll probably see something crazy from Jay because he definitely needs a little bit more building up after them kind of pulling him away from the IC title and all that type of stuff. So I think they could use that. But that's my predictions. I feel like it's one of those weird things that we're going to see a lot of different stuff. But I feel like overall, I think it's just going to be one of those good PLEs. I think it's one of those PLEs where we don't exactly expect um like all the best matches, but I think we're gonna end up getting the best matches because some of these like PLEs like they're so pumped up with like storyline that they lack, and this one I think doesn't have as much story, but it has just good overall fighting, and I think it's gonna be good. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll see Survivor Series tomorrow, and then Sunday I'm gonna try to have a match review up. And until then, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.